Welcome to the PTA Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, John Caligiuri, accompanied by my co-host, Nick Kelling. Nick, how you doing today?
Howdy. I'm doing great.
So for all of our loyal listeners, I want to apologize. We took a bit of a hiatus that was on account of me. I went on vacation, so that is why there's been a lack of episodes, but we're definitely getting on the 2 episodes a week schedule. So I just want to say thank
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah, work hard, play hard. Podcast harder is, I think, what they say.
Should have been podcasting on your vacation.
Yeah. Yes. We planned on podcasting on the vacation, but the timelines did not add up, and that was no fault to Nick. That was 100% on me.
No, I was busy too.
So Nick, what's been new with you? Any new deals? Any new processes or anything like that?
I've been doing quite a bit of leases, working with people with leases. I think it's maybe the location that I've kind of been working in, and then people just not buying as much.
So. Yeah, especially with unemployment on the rise and things like that, and then people not cutting rates.
That was tough. I was expecting it to go down, and then it just didn't. It went up.
I don't think we're going to. I don't think they're going to cut any rates this year.
No, absolutely not.
Because inflation's still I think inflation's at like 3% right now.
It's higher than that.
Oh, it is? Because the last article I read was at 3%. Because they said they were going to drop rates if it went down to 2, but it went from like 2.5 to 3, and that's why
I was thinking it was at like 4 or something. Because 3 isn't. I mean, it's bad, but like it's understandable. But
well, I'll be fully transparent.
At the peak where it was at 9%.
That was last year. I think that's why they wanted
last year.
Before they cut rates. They want it to be at 2, just so it doesn't do anything. And then it was floating at like around 2.5. They anticipated inflation going down to around 2 this time of year. That's why they said they're going to cut it, but it floated up to 3.
Okay.
Because even though Joe Biden's administration saying that unemployment is low, people who, like at the state level, people filing for unemployment at the rapid rate. Because we are currently in a recession right now, and some people saying, even though the experts and the politicians are saying that we're not in a recession, I think we could go to like a heavy recession the second half of the year.
Oh yeah.
Especially with like the Middle East and everything like that. So let's roll into this clip and talk about it, and we'll go from there.
Is, in my opinion, the most tax advantageous asset class. You want to make sure that you're fully optimized per your situation when you're buying rental real estate. If I buy rental real estate, I'm going to create net operating income that is ideally tax deferred. I'm also going to create tax losses that ideally I can claim. And learning how to structure that is very important for that optimization. The challenge is I'm going to buy rental real estate. I want to build wealth, ideally over the long term. Everybody wants a tax refund today. But if you keep doing this thing over 20 years, you won't have to jump through all these hoops. You'll just have a portfolio that offsets itself. And now you're rich dad, poor dad on steroids, right? So it's just helping people understand everything that's available to them. And then also, what should they actually do? Real estate.
So before we go, Nick and I are not financial advisors in any way. We're not licensed. Well, Nick is licensed. He's for real estate, but in terms of finance, we're not tax advisors whatsoever. But I think I kind of want to use that clip to go into like the benefit of having a good network. Because I think if you're interested in starting your own real estate, like let's just say real estate empire, I think the main tenets of that would be having a really good lawyer, really good real estate lawyer, a really good CPA who understands what your mission is. And I also think you should have someone who's, if you're not handy yourself, someone who, like a general contractor that you trust. Of even if they're not, say you want to redo a kitchen in a house, maybe you don't even like. Maybe he's busy. It's just a good second opinion of someone, preferably someone who's been in the game longer than you have, and they can like sniff out the BS. And if like, oh, this contractor is going to charge you $15,000, but he's like, that he's trying to rip you off. You could do that for 8.5, like things of that nature. Same goes with like lawyers and CPA. I really think having a great network really not like building a great network is very advantageous for you. Nick, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. I'm trying to be building some houses here in Houston soon, and I'm networking, calling subcontractors and all that stuff, and building my network. And that's super important for the construction side, or just building real estate connections. If it is that, yeah, what you said, a lawyer, a CPA, and all that stuff. And it really comes down to is calling people. You can either Yelp, Facebook, or just asking your friends, like, hey, do you know any people like that? Like, who do you know? Do you have a family member that's a CPA? Do you have a family member that's a lawyer? And then just building those connections, saving it in maybe your contacts on Excel or Google or your phone, and then just building that sheet that you're using for your connections. Because you're going to have to using them.
What strategies have you been doing to build your network personally that you've been utilizing?
Exactly what I'm just saying. People that you already know, your own sphere, asking them like, hey, do you know a person? Do you know a plumber? Do you know an electrician? Do you know someone who does tile? Like, and you're not going to know everyone like that. So you're going to have to use Google, Yelp, or something like that. And then just calling people like, hey, I saw your ad on Google or Yelp. I was wondering if we could maybe like meet up at your office or see some of the work that you do. Now, if you do something like that, you should really get 3 contacts for each skill set. So talk to 3 CPAs, talk to 3 plumbers, talk to 3 electricians, talk to 3 realtors, talk to 3 financial planners. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And then compare prices, compare skills, compare conversations with people. If, you know, the cheapest dude that you talk to sounds like they don't know what they're talking about, probably don't use them. Maybe use like the middle guy.
Yeah. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Yeah. It was like, oh, I can build your house $100,000 cheaper than the next guy.
Yeah.
You might want to maybe throw 4 or 5 people in there you talk to, like, you know, get kind of like the average. And like if that guy's way off, that guy's way off for a reason.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of, especially if you're trying to build your network in the construction, they can always hit you with a change order. So they can be halfway done building your kitchen or anything like that, and then be like, hey, we're over budget.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to sign this change order or we're gonna stop. And you're like, wait, I could have hired the more intelligent person and paid the same price, and my cabinets would be straight.
That's definitely a good rule of thumb as well. Because me and Nick are both transplants. I'm originally from the Midwest, and I live on the Jersey Shore now. And what I utilize for my networking is I joined the Italian American Club, because kind of going off of what you said, there's in like those types of clubs, it could be the VFW, it could be the Realtors Association, it could be the Bigger Pockets, whatever you do, go into those like meeting centers and hubs. Because just from the Italian American Club, I have a CPA from there. I have small business owners and like that. That's a route I chose. Nick, I like what you're doing. I just want to show up like what our processes are for the people, because I just want to streamline them. Like there's a group of people, all mostly business owners and stuff like that.
This way's the way that I'm talking about is definitely the cheapest way and probably not the most effective way. For rental properties, I hear them being advertised all the time in Houston, Wealth Academy, which are there. You literally pay like a couple $100 a year, and you get like this dude's whole network and like people and like other people. And you get to like build connections through that organization, which is huge in Houston. Like a lot of people use them, or join some kind of club. Clubs are a huge benefit.
And what's good about the Italian American Club, it's like $85 a year, but every Monday you get a free meal. So it's like it's basically free.
Worth it now. Like,
yeah,
if you're gonna go out to eat, it's pretty much $80.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. So that's my rationale of like you just streamline everything. There's a reason why you're there, and the way I look at it, it's basically free.
Yeah, and you're building networks, so it's gonna pay off. Like just having connections like that, There's going to be like like talking to someone that's going to do something for you at a cheaper rate and at a better rate, and there's the quality of the work is going to be better. That's going to pay off because you use the cheapest person and they fuck up something. You're gonna have to pay someone to then fix that, which is going to cost you more. So you might as well just pay that $85, get a good connection.
Yeah, buy once, cry once.
Yep.
And also, I think for people in our situation, because we're both transplants, the network, building a network is paramount, like scaling it quickly. Because obviously, if you are in your hometown, I think it's way easier because you're like, if you went to high school with someone with over 100 people in your graduating class, like, you know, someone whose dad is a lawyer, you know, someone whose dad's a dentist, you know, someone whose dad's a plumber. But I think you really need to hit the ground running if you move across country because you don't have those connections. Like, I don't know about you, Nick, but I have significantly less friends on the East Coast than I have in Wheaton, Illinois, just by the nature I wasn't born and raised here. I don't know if you found that same predicament.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think like joining, being a realtor, working at multiple brokerages now, I've definitely talked to a lot of people. I have a lot of people's phone numbers within the real estate industry. So really, if I have any questions or really anything about that, like, oh, I know this guy does commercial a lot. Like, I have a commercial question, I can just call him. Oh, this guy is, a lot smarter about residential than what I know. I can just give him a call on this question. And then he goes, really anything with, oh, this guy, I know this guy owns 5 rental properties. I might know how to get a renter in them, but I don't know how to acquire them. You know what I mean? I don't know how to run the business, but I know this guy does. I can give him a call and ask him and talk to him. I have all those connections working with people as a realtor. And I think if you're a transplant, and I know you're working at a bank with you talk to how many people a day? Like at least 10, 20 people a day, and all kinds of different jobs and all that stuff. And if you need something, I bet you have oh, I worked with this one guy, I can give him a call. Like, hey man, I'm not an expert in this field. I know that, you are. Can I ask you a few questions? 9 times out of 10, someone's going to be like, yeah, that's how I found it. So.
No, Nick, I completely agree. And just for I would like to know your thoughts and opinions. What would you say is like the top 3 things if you're trying to build a real estate portfolio? What 3 like skill sets you think is important? I'll go first, kind of like lay the groundwork of like, I think number 1 would be the general contractor. 2, a really good realtor who's not like a realtor who like is like trying to help people find their first home, like someone who's in the investment game of like maybe someone who has who's a realtor and has like 2 or 3 of them own, maybe partner with them, maybe you don't, but like they have the nose to the grindstone in your neck of the woods. And then I would say the last one would be a CPA because like I said, I'm not a tax professional. I do not claim to be one, and I definitely would streamline the process that way.
I would say top 3. I would actually take out the CPA and put a property manager.
Okay.
Because you gotta manage and grow your property, your assets, your cash flow before you're thinking about how much you owe in taxes. That's important. But I think the property manager is above the CPA. Especially if you're trying to really scale your business. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 doors, maybe even if you have a couple of fourplexes, you have 20, 14 doors, then yeah, you can kind of manage them yourselves. But if you really want to scale and you want to be more passive, it is expensive. So I want to make sure that you have that cash flow up front before you're thinking about property management. Not, hey, I'm buying this house, hiring a property manager right off the rip, and then realize I don't cash flow because I pay all this money to my property manager. Make sure you run your numbers, make sure it makes sense to have a property manager. If it doesn't, you might have to sell and look for a better deal that does cash flow with a property manager. But having a good one at a good rate, especially if you have some kind of connection with them, and like, hey man, I can get you 30 doors today, but I can't pay you on your full amount. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, all right, that's some great business right there. I'm growing my property management company. Yeah, I'll hop on that. Now I won't. Now property managers, will say that they can rent your house out. I don't go for it if you want to, but just know it's probably gonna go for less per month. It's gonna probably cash flow less, and it's gonna take forever to get someone in there because they're not realtors. They're not posting on the MLS. They're simply posting it on their website. They're spending a lot of money running ads and getting people to their website and making those connections with people that are looking to buy or rent a house. But they don't have the MLS, which
Yeah.
a realtor does. So you're better off paying that extra amount to a realtor, get someone in that house within the second month, which really right now you should be able to get someone in the house easily less than a month. You're just going to make sure you listen to the realtor, make sure you go with the price that he or she says. Because if you're like, no, push it up a couple $100, it's not going to rent out, and you're going to end up losing money in the long run. So make sure you rent out the house at the price that the market dictates.
No, Nick, I completely agree. I completely agree.
Yeah. So contractor, realtor, property manager.
Those are the 3 keys to success, as they say. Bang, bang, boom.
The 3 pillars. Yeah, and then growing your real estate portfolio, you need that contractor because a lot of people probably don't know, like, why do you need a contractor? You're not going out there and buying a new construction house and thinking you're just going to put a renter in there and it'll cash flow. It will not. You're buying an older house that you're going to be fixing up. You're gonna buy the house. You're gonna get a bid from contractors, probably like 3 or 4 of them that you have good connections with. And you're gonna fix it up, and then you're gonna rent it out because you're gonna save some money doing that.
No,
and you might actually cash flow.
I completely agree. Well, Nick, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's
Well,
what it's at right there.
thank you everyone for listening. God bless. Have a great rest of your day.
That's it.